Howdy folks, and welcome to 50 Nautical Mile Arc. We are doing something new today, and we are going to start a series of flights. We've only done this twice on this channel. We had a 3-part series where we took this aircraft actually with the Marvin Windows livery to fly the Marvin Windows routes in Minnesota. And we did a 5-part series where he flew around Lake Superior in 5 legs. But today we're going to start a much larger series. And don't worry, even though it's a series, there will be other videos interjected in between every once in a while. So for example, this I plan to be about a 17-part series, 17 legs. However, you're not going to see 17 videos in a row of this series. I'll be throwing in a few other flights with different aircraft and different types of flights every so often. Not necessarily every other one, but every couple flights. That way it doesn't get monotonous. But I figured it'd be something I'd give a shot because in other gaming channels, you always have series and things, but Flight Simulator usually don't. It's usually a flight, and that's about it. So I thought I would give this series thing a shot and see how that goes. So a few other things. We're going to try to use the same aircraft for the entire series. So we're going to try to use this Carenado B1900D in the Eagle Express livery. I honestly don't even know what that is. I should look it up. We're going to use this aircraft for the entire series. Also, I'm going to use real-world weather for the entire series as much as possible. If I have a flight I have time to take and it's severe weather in real life, obviously I'll modify the weather a little bit. And also, I'm doing my very, very best to only use 3D modeled airports. So for my planning, there's one leg that I can't avoid, a 2D airport. But for the most part, it's going to be 3D. So that's the introduction to the series. This is leg 1. I forgot to tell you what the series is. The series is going to be a transcontinental flight from the west coast of California to the east coast in Long Island, New York. And I'll fine-tune it along the way. I only have the first couple legs planned. I don't plan on doing everything ahead of time because I am free to make modifications, therefore. So that's the series. That's the introduction. Transcontinental flight of the United States. And I guess the continent is North America, but you get the idea. So today we're going to do leg 1. We're going to start at Kilo Tango Oscar Alpha, which is Zamperini Field, just outside of Los Angeles, California, on the Pacific coast. And we're going to fly to Blythe, which is Kilo Bravo Lima Hotel. And I did do a practice flight, and I do have the GPS figured out finally in this aircraft. A couple other flights, you remember that there was issue where the GPS was giving me problems, and there is a bug, and I figured out the bug, so it wasn't my fault. There really is a bug, and I figured it out, and I'm able to work around it, and I'm going to be doing a lot of GPS in this flight. We're going to do an approach, we're going to do vertical navigation, we're going to do a lot with the GPS today. The flight time is only about 41 minutes or so, give or take. And other than that, I think we're ready to begin. Passengers are boarding. The lights are on in there, even though you can't really see them. At least they should be on, unless my battery died. Nope, lights are all on. And this is what I've seen before in another video, how the lights are yellow. Overhead and floodlights are yellow, and the reading lights are white. Where in X-Plane 10, it was all white. So anyway, we are going to get this thing started while passengers are boarding. It's 6:52 a.m., so it's an early morning flight. I already did the fuel. I set the fuel for about an hour and 21-minute flight, even though it's only a 41-minute flight, just for have reserves. We'll come down here, remove this thing, the yoke, and then we'll turn on the battery and the avionics switch. And the lights are already on. I already have emergency lights. I can move those to arm now, I guess. Reading lights, cabin lights, everything is on. I turned off the pilot and co-pilot map lights, though. Exterior lights, I have the tail flood on. I guess we can turn on the recog since we're going to be starting up soon. Anti-collision beacon is already on ground, so our lights are already ready to go. So from there, turn on our gauges, which I'm distracted by my cats. I have 4 cats walking around. I'm kind of distracted by them, but that's okay. Turn on our avionics gauges, and then we are already going to put our flight plan in the GPS. Now, here's the bug. See how we have a nice map? If you do any scroll wheel in this aircraft, whether it be over here, it goes to airfield view. You have to hit clear to get out of it. clear was working yesterday during my test. What's different today? That's very interesting. Anyway, it's all screwed up though. So will that, hang on, let me try this again. If you go to this page and hit clear, it's supposed to go back to the map. I tested this for 2 hours yesterday and it worked, and now it's not working. We'll have to figure it out. But anyway, even if you do scroll wheel down here, it changes it to that view. Then you have to clear, get out of it. Normally, interesting. Well, we'll fix this now because we have to put in a flight plan and we'll work it out. But see how this map is totally different than the other one? This is north up instead of our direction up, and the time is gone and everything, but that'll change. So flight plan. All right, that's where we are. We are going to go to KB. It did it again. It remembers my last flight, even though I cleared this out. I mean, that is where we're going. Fine. So let's do our approach, I guess. We are going to select an approach. We're going to do our nav for 20. No. See there? This thing is so buggy. Get out of here. That's where we are. Right? Select that. Or that's where we're going. Hit enter. Or menu. Select. Let's activate leg first. See what happens. Okay. Now let's hit menu. Select approach. Okay. There. We're going to start there. We're going to go to Kilo Bravo Lima Hotel. And as I was saying before, this is buggy for this aircraft. In the Twin Otter with the GPS, none of this stuff happens. This is this aircraft causing these problems. Let's enter that, accept that, come back up here, and let's do the approach, please. Why is it saying delete approach? I haven't put in an approach yet. Let's back out of that. Select approach. Select approach. There we go. KBLH. RNAV 26. Enter. We want to use the TIBC approach, or transition, I mean, sorry. And we want to load it. There. So now we have what we're supposed to see. So now if we screw up, we hit clear, and it goes back to... Come on. You can do this. You can do this. Why won't you get back to my map page? You're supposed to go back to the map from here. This is flight plan. There you go. Try it again. So this gets screwed up, let's say. And then you hit clear. There we go. Oh my gosh. So even though I practiced, it's still bugged out on me. Anyway, I do know there's one error I did in there when I hit the wrong menu for the approach, whatever. We won't talk about that. Anyway, so that is the problem with this aircraft. And every time we do something, we got to come over here, hit clear to get back to where we are. So that's just the way it is. But anyway, we have our approach put in there. So if you want to look at our flight plan, instead of me manually doing it like I used to, there's where we're going. Well, up. It won't even go up. Anyway, that's where we're going. What in the world? Oh my gosh. We're supposed to be able to scroll through this. I was going to show you everything. But anyway, our destination airport is there. Our transition is all there. So Zeusis at 5.9, we need to be... Is this going to work? Is this going to work? We need to be at 2,200 feet. So we go... Nope, we go like this. To 2,200 feet. This is our vertical navigation I was talking about. And this thing is bugging. Just bugging out on me. Come on. 2,200 feet. Oh my gosh. 2,200 feet. Enter sea level, and we want to do 5.9 before. I'll tell you where in a second here. And you're supposed to be able to hold this down, and that doesn't work in this aircraft. I have to click every single time. At 5.9 before Zeusis, and then we select, nope, we select all the waypoints until we get Zeusis. Are you serious? Why isn't this working? This worked yesterday. Anyway, I'll modify that as we get in the air. I will modify this and scroll down to Zeusis. Enter, and we're going to go down at 800 feet per minute. And then what will happen is the VSR will tell us our actual vertical something, and then our status will fill in, and it will say start descending in 7 minutes. Now this will not automatically descend the aircraft. You still have to manage your autopilot. What this will do is tell you time to descend, and then you descend. That way you cannot miss the airport. It's wonderful. I did not know it was there until I was screwing around yesterday. Notice, however, that I have to keep this is really bugging me that I can't get down there to get to my whatever. Notice I'm popping this out because if I use this scroll wheel, it also screws up the GPS. So you can't even use this. You can use this, but you have to notice this says terrain there, but if you pop it out as vertical nav, that's funny. Anyway, it's a mess, but I know the workaround most of the time. Obviously there's some mistake. Whoops, we're going to also fly up to 18,000 because at 16,000 we won't be able to clear some mountains, so we have to go all the way up to 18,000 for this, like so. And where does that leave us? This will tell us what to set our course to. Set course to, I can't see that far. Set course to 81. So we go, well, see, look at that. So we come up here to autopilot and we set course to 81. There you go. All right, where are we? We need to hit CDI on the GPS so that the GPS actually reads the autopilot reads the GPS. Radios and instruments, there aren't any to worry about. It's 100% GPS all the way to touchdown. All right, now it is time to hop outside and close our doors. So we'll hop out here. We'll close the baggage door and the passenger door, and we'll close the cockpit door, and we'll move the static elements. And there is that. So I'm going to come down here, make sure everything's going to reset, which it has. Come over here to our fuel switches and turn these on. Standby pump on, auto for that one, and that's how much fuel we have, which is plenty. All right, now we're going to start this thing up. So turn off external power, ignition auto arm, and hold this until it gets to 12 or 15%, I guess. It's actually 15%. You have to turn on introduce the fuel before it gets to 12. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, introduce fuel. And you can come over here and watch your prop spin up, and then you know you're ready to go. Or you can sit and look out the window. And there we go. Hop up front, turn on the generator, we'll start the other one. Now we already have fuel introduced because my one axis on my yoke does fuel levels for both. There we go. Generator ties it up, and we have prop rotation on the gauge, so we'll turn on our AC bus. Air bleed valve is over here, and at the same time we'll turn on our blowers and our furnace. We'll do our tests, and it's 40 degrees in here, so if I turn on auto and I do auto temp, we'll get to 120. I'll show you later. Alright, rudder boost right here. I'm not going to worry about cabin at the moment. Auto feather to arm, just down here. Generator ties closed, and stall warning, anti-ice, and pitot heat, and then prop sync. So there we go. Now we're going to set up our autopilot. So we're going to go to 18,000 feet. So we want to climb at 2200, and Alt select and nav, so follows the GPS, and notice our GPS went back to its silly thing again. See that? That's so annoying. At least I got around it for the most part. There's still some bugs, as you saw, but we'll work those out as we go, especially that vertical nav thing. Not able to select Zeus is driving me crazy. Alright, come up here, turn on some taxi. Whoops, not there. Up here. Turn on some taxi lights and our nav lights. I know it's our recog turned on automatic. No, I did that. Never mind. And we are ready to go. So let's hop outside because I like how it looks when we're tactile sign. Flaps down 1. We're only going... Oh, look at that. There's our Boeing friend. Just in time. He's there every time, isn't he? We're just going to the little runway. We're going to take off runway 11 so that we're into the wind. A whopping 5 knot wind this morning. So we'll do props to taxi. Take off the parking brake. Give it a little bit of juice. Props are on taxi, right? They're above taxi. Why am I having such a hard time getting going here? There we go. And away we go. We're going to take off with flap 1. And even though it's perfectly clear skies, the real world weather is cutting out a couple frame rates, plus the Bandicam does remove more frame rates than I realized. So I have to be honest about that. It's not as bad as some people are saying online, though. Some people are saying that recording is killing their X-Wing 11. That's obviously not the case here. We'll blow through that stop sign. And we'll slow down a little bit because we're getting momentum. And then we'll blow through that stop sign as well. I figured since there's a cute little runway, we might as well use it, and it's into the wind, so... Obviously the AI traffic is pre-designed to take a certain runway. Stop, and parking brake is set. Come up here, turn on our landing lights, turn off our taxi lights, turn this on to strobe. We'll turn off the floodlights and the overhead lights, and the reading lights are already on. And in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, that makes a cockpit look like that, much darker. And see, look at this, it went back again. The GPS, alright, so let's see, flaps already down. We're going to trim for takeoff, which is somewhere down here. There it is. And we want to trim for takeoff. Our battery is dying because it wasn't moving quickly enough. That's okay. Let me guess, it screwed up our GPS again. No, it didn't. Huh, okay. Let's see what else. Note the time on the clock. And props forward. And holding the brakes, spooling up, even though we don't really need to worry about running out of runway here. And let's see if I can get this rudder control to work. It has been giving me problems again, but not as bad as it was before I made my adjustments. And up we go, I think. There we go, positive rate. Gear up. Flaps up, and autopilot engaged. Immediately this time. I think I gotta check my diagram of my yoke. Yes, that was gear and flaps. I guess we can look down here for the flaps. Well, throttle's in the way. Flaps are up, gears up. Let's have a couple looks around, and then we'll manage our engines. So there we are, taking off from the airport. And we are on our way. And there's the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and Catalina Island, which we were previously, or recently. Greater Los Angeles. It's kind of hazy though. And away we go. And we will clear those mountains. Barely, but we will. This is great. Let's Long Beach. Let's see what our passengers have to see. There we go, looking over Long Beach. Sort of. That looks pretty cool. I'm looking at the suburbs. Alright, let's hop back up front and see how things are going. Yeah, it looks good to me. Let's manage some engines, and then we'll get our GPS tuned to go to the right approach, because right now it's going directly to the airport. We actually want to go to our approach, our transition. We have to change that. So let's manage this so we don't start on fire. I'm looking for greens on the turbine or the torque, and the props come back a little bit. There you go. Let's move up because you can't see everything. So we're in the green. Green. All right, so now that everything is set, that we won't start on fire. Let's figure out why this isn't letting me manage. Because why can't I go down? I am supposed to be able to move down. There we go. My mistake, that was not a bug. Here we want to go direct to our transition, which is, notice airplane is turning just a little bit. So there we go, and 186 nautical miles. And this is telling us navigate out of date, whatever. So VNav, now no, not Hoover. I want Zamperini. There, Zeus. Got it. So that must have been my fault too, that once I activated the transition, I was able to select that. So that means begin descent in 48 minutes. That'll go down very quickly though once we reach cruising altitude. I just keep an eye on that, and then when it gets to 0, I set autopilot to descend to 2,200 feet. That's all it is. It's so simple. What's this now? Inside airspace. Yes, I know. We can actually clear this up a little bit. We don't need all this mess. I think it will be -2 I like. Yeah, there we go. So 50 minutes. When I did my practice flight, that started at 41. I don't know why it's so much longer today, but once we level off at cruising altitude, it'll dip down quite quickly. So there you go. That's all there is to it. All I have to do now is when we reach cruising altitude, I just need to keep an eye on our speed and make sure we don't overspeed. But our torque is fine, props are fine, we're not going to start on fire there. Everything is set, our fuel is fine. All the correct lights are on. I'll turn off the landing lights at 10,000 feet like normal. And that's it. Just, whoa, look at, oh, it's going to turn. And it's windy. That's awesome. I love wind gusts. So, nothing to do until we reach cruising altitude, and then I have to turn down my throttle so I don't overspeed like I said, and then I just have to keep an eye on that vertical nav. And once vertical nav tells me to descend, I descend. And then the GPS won't take us to the runway. It's actually not quite lined up with the runway in the sim. It lines us up to the right a little bit, so when we get on our final, I actually have to take over manually and bump us over like 150 yards to the left. But we'll all be with you then for that, no big deal. Let me actually change autopilot heading to go where we are in case there's a malfunction. So there you go. So you won't hear my voice for a while, so we'll do some sightseeing, and then you'll see the video when I make some changes to the throttle and when I keep an eye on the vertical nav and stuff. I won't be talking then though. I won't start talking until we hit top of descent. So that being said, enjoy, and I'll catch you in a little bit. Alright, and we are back. If we pull up our GPS here, you will see we have to start descending to target. So that means we're going to go down to 2,200 feet at our 800 feet per minute that we calculated. And there goes that GPS again, screwing up. And it's only said descend to target for like 3 seconds. I clicked on it right when it changed because I had looked ahead a little bit. 2,200 feet. Let's clear that so we can see what we're doing. And we'll do autopilot. And we'll descend 800 feet per minute. Alt select. So I'll go down to 2,200 feet. Descend 800 feet per minute. Now we just have to manage our throttle so that we don't overspeed. But we are going to keep our speed up. And something else I wanted to mention is this will change. If we get ahead of schedule, the time will start going up and it'll say descend in 1 minute or whatever. If we get behind schedule, it won't tell us. It'll just keep saying descend to target. So we'll still check that every now and then. We're not going to rely on it now. It's just saying descend to target. We do have to keep up on it and be careful. Otherwise, if we were to zoom out a little bit, you can see our transition and the airport. And it's pretty much that simple. So just to double check our autopilot, we are descending at 800 feet per minute to 2,200. Alt select, and there you go. Nothing else to do now until we get to 10,000. We turn the landing lights back on. We still have a ways to go, though. I mean, what does it say? It says 16 minutes or so. So far we've been flying for 33 minutes. Sure seems like less time than that. It's a lot of fun to fly. Also, I forgot to mention, while we started in California, Blythe is still in California, right on the border of Arizona. So we've been flying mostly east, a little east-southeast. So we're still going to be in California today, but on our next leg we'll be going quite a ways across Arizona, but we'll worry about that when we get there. So we've gone from the desertish areas of California with a little bit of mountains to the desert here on the California-Arizona border. I did not memorize the city names along the way. I apologize for that. But the airport is over the second mountain. So you've got, well, you got the first mountain in front of us, and you got the second row of mountains that doesn't come across, and you got the third mountain. It's between that third mountain and the fourth mountain. In fact, this approach brings us very, very close to a small range of mountains, and we're well below the mountain top, so it's going to be really neat. But we just have to trust the GPS, and that's all there is to it. So another, what I say, 16 minutes down to 15 and a half. Let's double check our vertical navigation again. So we're not ahead of schedule. So we'll just stay like that, and then make sure our speed doesn't get into overspeed. And as we get lower and closer, I'll bring back the throttle, because we have to slow down anyway. We don't want to be doing 220 on our base leg. And then we'll be able to finesse our descent if we have to increase or decrease our descent rate a little bit. Anyway, so that's about it. Mountains, like I said, I can see where the airport is from here. But nothing else to talk about or do. So we will have a few more outside shots, and then I'll catch you just before we make the transition. Alright, we're just passing the airport now. If you look out the side window, you see the pappies for the other runway. We're not going on that runway. But as you can see, we're going to cross this mountain range and then make our transition alongside that second mountain range below the terrain. So it's going to be quite interesting. I've been keeping an eye on everything, and we're not ahead of schedule in terms of descent. In fact, I think we're behind schedule. We may have to increase our descent rate or slow down, or a combination of both. So I'm going to slow down just a tad anyway, because we are getting kind of fast. We don't want to be going too fast when we make our transition, because we have to land at a good speed too. Landing lights are already on. What's our flight time been so far? 52 minutes. Wow, longer than my test flight by quite a bit, but that's okay. Not a problem there. Looks like we're getting kind of close to those hills. Well, we need to, because we're going to go around through this valley here. Going to go around through there. And come back to the airport. Bring up a close view of our transition here. 1 minute 35 seconds to our transition. If you look at the GPS, you can see the Zeusis. We need to be down to 2,200 feet by that point. And we're at 3,800, so I think we're doing pretty well. But we're not ahead of schedule, because if we were ahead of schedule, that descend to target down there would, this one here, would say to hold off and wait like a minute to keep going. But it doesn't say that, so we're either on schedule or behind schedule. We're not ahead of schedule. So in about 2 minutes, we'll make our turn on final, a long final. We just have to come down to 800 feet by Zeusis, and I have a feeling we're going to be way ahead of schedule, even though this isn't reporting as being ahead of schedule, but that's okay. I'm just using it as a guide anyway. So I'm going to start slowing this down just a hair. Get us down to about the 200 knot range. So the runway is over there. Can't really make it out from here, but it's there. Some nice last minute scenery before I have to manage an aircraft. Wow, look at that terrain change. Huh. So anyway, like I said, we're right alongside these mountains here. See that? No, we're definitely below them. Alright, time to manage an aircraft. What are we at? Another minute yet? Oh, we're under 2,200 feet. There we go, clear that out. So then at Zeusis, we'll kill autopilot, because at Zeusis we want to be 2,200 feet, and we're already there. So at Zeusis we'll kill autopilot, and then we'll have to shift over to the south, because like I said, it doesn't quite line up in the sim. We're about to turn on a final. Like I said, a long final. And in just under 2 minutes, I'll be taking over manually. We'll keep our speed where it is for now. So the runway is a little to our left. But I'm not going to worry about it until we get to our next waypoint. Ooh, I like how that sun is changing on the panel there. That's really nice. So there we go, right on target. So, landing lights are on. No radios to tune into visual landing. We're at the appropriate height. And I'll kill throttle and bring us into safe area for flaps and gear in a moment, as soon as we get to Zeusis. Then we'll have to move over. Can we see it from here? Yep, see, there it is. If we were to keep going this way, we would end up parallel to the runway. See how it's moving parallel to us? Alright, 30 seconds. We have to make a decision here. Or not a decision, we have to change what we're doing. Nice town there. The autogen is so accurate in terms of density and everything. Is so awesome. They've done such a great job with autogen. Version 3 mesh, of course. Every video from here on out is going to be version 3 mesh. Alright, here we go. Let's kill some autopilot. Bring our throttle back, and let's make our little sideways skip here. We'll descend about 500 feet per minute or so. Which one is gear now? I have to remember what my new controls are. Gear down, flaps down. We'll do gear down now. That'll bleed off some speed. And first set of flaps, we'll float like crazy. We obviously want to clear those power lines. Look at that. Definitely want to clear those. Alright, throttle back in. We don't want to go too slow yet. Or we don't need to go too slow yet. Otherwise, it just adds a bunch of time to our trip. I think we can do the outside thing without me screwing myself up too much. Looking good. Flaps down, gear down. Very nice. Alright. I better pay attention to what I'm doing now, huh? Oh well, threw me off a little bit. But that's okay, we can get back on track. It's worth it for the scenery to get thrown off a little. 500 feet per minute, about where we want to be. We're at the great approach speed for first set of flaps. Just goes to show you, though, how quickly you can get thrown off. We were set up wonderfully, and then I did sightseeing for about 15 seconds, and look how off we got. But that is totally okay. I'm going to get off again because I'm going to look out the window. Well, it looks great. I could use a replay mode for those shots, but I'm always nervous of my replay causing a sim crash. Because it's happened more times than not. Look at that. Good glide slope, good speed. We'll reduce our speed in a moment. We're not going to go two set flaps. I looked at our map, by the way, a minute ago off camera, and I think we've got like a 13 knot wind due west. So, couldn't have a more textbook approach here. Alright, props all the way forward. Bring it back to throttle a little bit. We want to approach at that first flag. Nicely modeled airport with some big aircraft. There we go. Hard to stay around that first flag. There we go. And with this aircraft, I'm never sure where the ground is. I always think I'm about to touch ground. I'm still like 15 feet up. So let's see if I can do a better job of that this time. Alright, throttle back, start a slight flare. Did I hold it off? A little bit. My microphone got in the way. That's okay. And we'll go down about 40. Flaps coming in. There we go. We didn't have to stop that quickly. I just like to stop that quickly. So my microphone is on a stand, like an A-frame type stand thing, and it goes right over my yoke. So when I pull back, I push against my microphone stand, and it's been causing a lot of problems. As you can see, I can't get my yoke back far enough. I'll just have to fix that some other time. Alright. We'll stop here at our stop sign. or just on the other side, I guess, when we cleared the runway. And we'll stop here. It'll let me stop. And we'll set the parking brake. Come up here, change our lights around a little bit. Turn on the cabin flood so people start packing up their stuff. And mark the flight time, which was 1 hour and 5 minutes. That's a big difference. Whoa, we're rolling. Why are we rolling? Let's bring our props back to taxi. Did my parking brake not grab? We're still rolling. Oh well, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I didn't crash into anything. So we got some big jets. Look at that one. It's stuck in the hangar. That's funny. Person who modeled this airport must not have assigned the types of aircraft at the start. So when you build an airport in WED, you can assign types of aircrafts to your ramp starts, that are called. So you can say, like, people can start here but only jets, or AI can start here but only small props, things like that. We're actually going to park right next to that guy. Sort of. Alright, so let's see, where do we want to go? Let's just go about here. Parking brake is set this time. Yes, it is. Let's check down here and make sure it is. Yes, it is. See, here I just bumped my microphone. Anyway, let's come back. I'll kill some stuff. You can see AI aircraft in the sky up there with their contrail. Maybe that's just a museum. Maybe that's just a flight museum, and that's why there's aircraft sticking out. Maybe it's not a real aircraft. I guess I can just keep telling myself that. Anyway, that looks awesome. Let's take a screenshot of that. Alright, let's hop up here and open up our window. Get some fresh air in here. I think I adjusted my climate to be okay. Yep, it's down to 70. Good. Or 60. It was up to 120 earlier. And here's this silly thing again. Anyway, let's see, what can we do? We can turn that off now, turn that off now, turn that off now. Fasten seatbelt can come off. Those other lights can stay on. Turn on our map lights here, move those around. What else? Oh, do we still have props spinning? Oh, we're good to go. Alright, so in the interest of time, I am going to open up the doors from out here. We got our passenger door, baggage door, and static elements. And welcome to Blythe, California. So, the Arizona border is right about where those hills are. Mountains, hills, but pretty close. So wow, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy that I'm starting a series. Like I said, I've got like 17 legs planned, but I have a feeling I'm going to need to do more because some of my legs are quite long, and I don't have time to do a 2 or 3 hour flight. So, but hope you enjoyed the first leg of the series. Remember now, I'm not going to do 17 flights in a row of this. We're going to break it up a little bit. But look for that. Should give some long-term interest to follow along. If you found my channel by accident, please subscribe, give a like, and share with your friends. If you are a regular subscriber, thank you for your continuing support. Any suggestions you would like to leave in the comments, use the comments below, and I read all of them. And there we have it. I'll catch you on the next one.